Alright, step one for removing the radio on a 2017 WRX. You'll see here, we're just going to pop this side up, get our hand behind it, and we're going to pull out. There's clips along the bottom here, and along the top here. And then we're just going to unplug the connectors. And set this to the side. All right, step two for removing the radio. We're going to take out these two 10mm bolts. And they're really tight. There's one, and the other one's right here. All right, step three, remove the glove box. We drop this down. You're gonna see a little arm right here that holds the glove box up. We're gonna push that off and just let it sit there. Then what you need to do is push these clamps over, and they're pretty tight. There's one here and one there. You need to push them and drop the glove box down straight, and the glove box will remove. Here are the panels that you need to remove. You're just pushing them in and getting them past the point of where it stops inside the dash. And once that's off, you can drop it and set it to the side. Step four of removing the radio is we're going to get to the passenger side 10mm. Once you get the glove box out, if you look directly to the left, you're going to see an airbag loom. Right above that airbag loom is the 10mm that holds the bottom right-hand side of the radio in. We need to remove that. All right, so this is going to be the hardest part, is getting off the driver's side to get to that driver bolt. It actually sits right back up inside here, but what this requires is taking off this panel, and this panel, which I popped out already. And we may have to drop the airbag depending upon what tools you have. Sometimes we can get around it, but let me drop these all down and I'll give you designated areas of where screws are at. Once we take out those two screws, okay, we're actually going to drop this panel down. And it's very, very simple. You can pull it from one side, unclip it from this side, and you can drop it down. You'll notice here is the 10mm bolts that hold the airbag in. And there's one on this side too. We already took out this screw. So we're just going to pop this panel off, just like we did on the other side. Very simple. There's the other 10mm there that we got to take out. As you can see, I've unplugged this left-hand side of the dash. That way it's not hanging in my way. Now, with this said, you are dropping in airbags, the whole assembly here. The plug is actually over here. You do not unplug that. All we're going to do is take out the two 10mm bolts, and we're going to drop it straight down and let it hang down to the floor. All right, I have the airbag unbolted. All we're going to do is grab it, we're going to drop it, and we're going to flip it to its side and let it sit over on this left-hand side over here. The bolt we're getting to is right there. That's a 10mm also. So we just got to pull that bolt out, and then we'll continue with pulling the radio out. So here are the screws, the two nuts, and the 4 bolts that I've taken out to remove the radio. This is why when we say it online that it's kind of easy, it actually really is. You just got to know where everything is. So that's it. You need a 10mm socket on a 6-inch extension, 1/4-inch drive. You need a panel tool and a Phillips head screwdriver to remove this radio. The next step in the process, all we're going to do is pop the radio out of the dash. You should be able to pop it with a little bit of force and from underneath, and then we're going to disconnect the wiring. We're going to start with the heating controls in the back. I'll get you some pictures of that so you know what to unplug. But that's it. The radio's actually popped out at this point. Here are the plugs. This is now a 2017 WRX. However, this one does not have the 5-pin cable for the rear view camera. We have our 28 pin here. We have our 10 pin and our 6 pin. Power and ground for the actual radio itself and speaker leads are in this plug. All the extra accessories are in this plug. This is where your camera power is. This is where your reverse signal is. Your rear view camera wiring is in here. This plug here is a ground for the radio. And then we have down here, we have our antennas. Okay, the blue one is your XM or Sirius, whatever you want to call it. The white one is for your AM FM antenna. And then we have the 4-pin here, which is for your USB console.